Welcome back again, Guardian. Ristopoulos here. We're going to talk about resilience today. So I've made a lot of these videos in the past. Really nothing at all has changed, but I figured, since it's, older content that I haven't talked about in a while, I'd go ahead and just kind of update you with it a little bit. It's not going to be super in-depth because you can just watch the older videos if you want more detail. This is just something that you can send to your friend if they use it and, don't believe that it's crap or whatever. So, there's only two reasons people use resilience. One is they're misinformed and they don't know any better, and two is they just ignore data and want to be completely ignorant to the game. But let's start it out with Radiolaria. So this is the only way you can get 15 ticks and not die. Everything else is going to be the same, but I'll show you anyways. So the 8-15, 8 means that's when it breaks the shield, /15 is when you die. So 8 to break shield, 15 to kill you. Now let's go ahead and drop it down. I'm not going to do every single tier, but if you go all the way from 2 all the way to 9, it's going to be this same result. 8 to break shield, 14 to kill you. Normally you'll automatically register at a 2 resilience without even trying, because the natural stat on armor usually gives you 1 or 2 tiers. I didn't test 1 or 0. I always keep it at 2, and I'll explain why it's at 2 here in just a second. But let's go to 2 resilience now. You'll see the same result. 8 to break shield, 14 to kill you. Now let's move it on to a different topic. Let's talk about auto rifles. So this is can be Vex, it can be Dregs, it can be Acolytes, any kind of file type enemy. This is exactly, the same type of damage basically. So even though a Vex is shooting me, this could be the same as a Dreg shooting me. It doesn't matter, the damage type is the same. So we'll start it off at 10 resilience, and we'll see how many it takes to do everything basically. So 6 to break shield, and then 10 to kill me. If you're curious my light level, I'm at 1326 light right now, doing a Master Nightfall. So it will scale a little bit when it comes to Grand Master, but it's going to further negatively impact resilience even more, because I'm 14 light away right here. So imagine if I was 25 light away, how much worse resilience is going to matter at that point. And keep in mind, when it comes to Master and down levels, every piece of light on your gear plays a part in your resistance. So you can put a higher piece of light gear on, but your light level doesn't change, but it'll still give you more resistance. But anywhere from 10 all the way to 2, it's going to be 10 to kill you, but your shield bust stage will be different. So once you hit 6 to 2, it's always going to be 5 to break shield, 10 to kill you, and then 7 through 10, that's when it's going to be 6 to break shield, and then 10 to kill you. So what I'm trying to get at is the damage increase you get by having max resilience is not much at all. If it can only grant you 1 extra shot to break your shield, but no extra shots to kill you, then it's not going to grant you anything extra versus harder hitting enemies. The amount of shielding that it adds is just such a small amount that it's only going to be noticeable in PvP content, where damage numbers are much smaller than PvE numbers. And this is why I always remain at a 2 resilience, because I can still get that 10th shot. But if I was to go to 1 or 0, it's 5 to break shield and 9 to kill you. So it doesn't matter if you're at 2 through 10. 2 is just a better number, because you're going to have better other stats that are actually more beneficial to you in combat. Now here is recovery. You can see 2 resilience with 8 recovery. You can see that I actually get 11 shots to die, because AI aren't always that accurate. So if you can just dodge slightly, just a little bit, and have high recovery, your recovery is actually your resilience, because you're gaining recovery back over time as you're taking damage, and it allows you to stay in the combat better. So once you have 10 resilience, that pretty much means that you're going to have a crappy recovery stat. You're probably not going to be able to hit 7 up unless you're using a stasis subclass with stasis stat buffs basically. But if you naturally just focus on mobility, discipline, recovery, and strength armor, you don't really need intellect either if you're playing add clear role. If you have at least a 3 intellect, you're the same as 10 when it comes to speed kill combat. I've made videos on that in the past as well. But if you can get that high recovery, that's going to be your resilience in PvE combat, because you're constantly getting your health back as it's chipped away, and you can stay in battle longer. Now let's go to boomers. That could be Minotaur, Knights. They all do the same type of damage if it's a boomer type of damage, such as this shot here. And being at this level and being a master, it's always going to be 2 to bust and then 3 to kill you, unless the splash is different. Splash damage is really inconsistent though, because you can be, closer to the splash or further away. As you'll see right here, I actually get 4 before I die, 2 to bust, 4 to die, but then watch as I go to 10 resilience, it goes back to 2 to bust shield and then 3 to die. So that's the inconsistency of trying to test out boomer damage. It's one of the harder damages to test out, because it all depends on where the splash is going to hit you. But enough of that, let's go to some melee damage. So this could be any type of champ melee basically. So we're just going to use the Minotaur for an example, and you can see how much of a little bit of health 10 resilience is going to give you. I'm going to start at 10, then go to 7, and then go to 5 and 3 and so forth, and then I'll screenshot them side by side so you can see how much actual health is being added to your meter of health to kind of break it down that way, and you'll see that it's a tiny pinch of health per resilience number that you get. And again, is the reason why I never build out for it, because it plays no real benefit in the actuality of combat like recovery, mobility, discipline, and strength to do. So here's the screenshot side by side. This is 10 resilience. Now moving over to 7, you can see it barely moves at all, and then 5 resilience, and then at 3 resilience. So no benefit at all, as I've been saying. Now let's move on to combat rhythms. This is a very basic example, but this is how combat plays out in many forms, basically. So you're shooting enemies, you get busted, you hop out, and since you have high recovery, you can hop right back in instantly, so you're never backed out of combat that long because you can get your health back almost to a full state that much quicker. Over time, you're constantly getting hit with damage, so all that time adds up over time. If you're playing against somebody that has like a 4 recovery or even a 6 recovery, they're having to stay back a little bit longer than you each time and every time you hop out of combat. So higher recovery is going to let you stay in longer and be faster. So I just popped up what I recommend for the Warden of Nothing, either 1 concussive and 1 sniper damage resist, or 1 concussive and 1 solar damage resist, and you can get 7 to break and then 13 before you die. Now here's the only instance you can actually get that 1 extra shot before you die, and that's going to be 10 resilience and 1 sniper damage resist or 1 solar damage resist. But that's wasting a ton of stat potential to just gain that 1 extra shot. You're sacrificing recharge rates, better recovery, even your mobility, which is a whole nother topic, but your mobility is also just as important. Now here is 2 resilience and 1 concussive dampener. This is another situation where you can get that 5th shot with 1 concussive dampener and 10 resilience. So you can see I just died at 4 and busted at 2. Now I can get that 5th, but most of the time you'll still die at 4. It just depends on how the splash damage hits you and why, again, it's inconsistent. But 2 resilience and high recovery is going to give you plenty of time to back out of battle. As soon as you're busted, just hop out, get your recovery back really fast, hop right back in, and then slay like you need to slay. But here's an example of what God tier PvE stats would look like. I would like to hit that 3 intellect on this stat build, but unfortunately I don't have it. I've done many videos on this in the past. If you want to watch those, go ahead. But this is just something you can send to your friend who maybe just doesn't believe that resilience doesn't work. I know the look of resilience can look appealing because you see a high number and you're like, yeah, I'm taking damage. But in reality, you're getting like the tip of my pinky nail in damage back on your meter, and it's really nothing at all. It's not ever going to be something worth building for. The only people that use it are the ones that are ignorant to data, or the ones that are new to the game, or the ones that just haven't found the right armor yet. But if you know the data, don't ignore it. Farm out the right kind of stats, and you'll start noticing how much more you're able to slay in combat with the right kind of build and stats on. But anyways, again, my name's Ristophilis. If I've ever helped you out or changed your Destiny 2 experience, feel free to play your part and support the community by shopping at teespring.com. You can scroll over to my store or leave a donation to enlist in the B Squad at paypal.me/Ristophilis, or click that join button to become a monthly member. But Guardians, it's my pleasure to help you out once again. Y'all Guardians, take it easy, and I'll see you all in the next video next time.
Space.